What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So Shen, this is the League of Legends champion I am going to be covering today. So to give you an idea of the actual format, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to his bio. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Then I'm going to move on to his skins. After that I'm going to read his story, and then finally I'm going to finish off with his actual gameplay spotlight. Now I'm aware that he's not got a login theme or any special interactions, which is a bit of a shame. Particularly the login thing, because I was looking forward to that, but I couldn't find any. Now I know he's got some special skin interactions, but I'm going to leave them off this video. I might include them in a special PsyOps skin video that I plan to do later on in the month. So that's kind of the format for the video today. I'll timestamp the whole thing as I always do. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Right, okay, so Shen, the Eye of Twilight. Cool picture there as well. Basically a ninja, innit? So, an enigma to the spirit realm as well as the mortal world, Shen belongs to neither. Although born to one of the most revered families in northern Navarre, it was his father's role as the Eye of Twilight that set his destiny in the King Cow Order. As the son of Great Master Kushko, he was immersed in the Order's culture, and its core tenets were as familiar to him as the Ionian sunset. He knew the necessity of pruning the tree, the determination of coursing the sun, but above all he learned the wisdom of watching the stars. He meditated and studied throughout his childhood and was considered exemplary by all of his teachers. So just on a little side note here, he is one of the main characters with Akali in TheReelSym, which is one of the Legends of Runeterra videos. I think it's video number 6. But I like how chilled, I think I mentioned it in that video as well, I like how chilled he is. When Akali's fighting this big tree monster and it's about to kill this kid, if you watch Shen, he's so chilled and like calm in that video, almost like he can see like 2 or 3 steps ahead. Yeah, I just like his vibe. Anyways, back to the bio. So his closest friend, the only one who could match him in practice bouts, right, was the young acolyte Zed. They grew up as brothers, often confiding in each other their personal hopes and dreams. Shen could turn to Zed for a fresh perspective on any matter, and the two became known as the King Cow's most promising students. So we read Zed's bio last week, and that kind of touched on it a little bit as well, and also there was some of it in Zed's bio as well, Jin's bio as well. So as their skills developed, Kushko brought them on dangerous missions, including the hunt, including the hunt for the golden demon plaguing the province of Xi'an, which obviously turned out to be Jin. Their search took years, but Shen stayed committed even after uncovering countless gruesome murders. When they at last captured the demon, it was revealed to be Kader Jin, a mere stagehand from a travelling theatre. Instead of execution, Grandmaster Kushko ordered the criminal imprisoned. So I think Shen was happy with that, but Zed wasn't. Though he and Zed both thought the killer deserved heavier punishment, Shen accepted his father's decision. He strived to emulate the Eye of Twilight's dispassion, and so found himself failing to console a bitter and resentful Zed. Even when Noxian invaders threatened the peace of the First Land, Shen reluctantly supported Kushko's inaction. But when Zed abandoned the King Cow to join the fight, Shen stayed within the temple walls. Reminds me a little bit of Irelia. Many of the provinces were soon occupied by the enemy. Despite this, Shen focused on maintaining Ionia's spiritual harmony. So it was, and that's obviously also what we saw in the lesson as well, because it's a kid that's chopping down a tree. It's a Noxian kid that's chopping down this tree, and the whole point of the lesson for Akali was given by Shen, which was all about balance. If you take something, you need to balance it by giving something as well. So it was when he was far from home, he felt a jolting imbalance within the King Cow Order. Probably when his father died, maybe. Rushing back, he came upon the survivors of a bloody coup. From them, he learned Zed had raised accolades of his own and seized the temple. Right. Worst of all, there we go. Shen's father had been slain by the man he once saw as king. Ooh, great story, that though, isn't it? That's a great story. You know, 2 young kids, best friends, brought up by this master. They have a disagreement that separates them. Then one of them kills the father. Yeah. Okay. So, repressing his anguish, he led the remnants of the King Cow to safety in the mountains. Shen took up his father's spirit blade as well as the title of Eye of Twilight. His role was not to seek vengeance but to rebuild the order. Following the core tenets, he began to recruit and train others, hoping to restore his strength. One accolade in particular showed boundless potential. Shen taught the girl a Kali, right, German Tai, to master the arts of stealth and subterfuge. Her mother, Mime, had stood alongside Kushko as the fist of shadow, and it seemed as though her daughter would follow the same path. Even so, Shen found himself forced to urge restraint when the Kali would seek to strike back at their mortal foes. Once again, you kind of see that kind of trait in the lesson as well. When Noxus finally withdrew, Manaonians celebrated the victorious resistance. Others like Shen endured the consequences of war. He persisted in his duty while in private he wrestled with his hatred for Zed and doubt in his own ability to lead. The years of conflict had taken a heavy toll on the First Lands, and Shen was uncertain whether the rebuilt Kinkau would ever be able to redress the balance. Indeed, even as Akali became a new Fist of Shadow, he felt her beginning to drift away. In time, she openly denounced his teachings and left the order. Wow, I didn't know that. Shen meditated, watching the stars, and understood that Akali would need to find her own way, and so would the Kinkau. Sometimes between unseen struggles in the spirit realm, Shen still contemplates the value of his beliefs. He had never let his emotions stop him from preserving tradition, but the question remains, how long can one man walk in two worlds before the acts of one destroy the other? Ooh, I like that. So that was good. That was a good introduction to Shen. Kind of sad really as well, because it shows how obviously he actually wants to respect his father's traditions, and he's doing that by not necessarily retaliating, but clearly you can see that he has some kind of conflict. Like it said, let me find it. It says here, others like Shen endured the consequence of war. He persisted in his duty while in private he wrestled with his hatred for Zed. So I like how it's shown that he's trying to be this example that his father was and not seek revenge. But in private it says that he's wrestling with his hatred for Zed, understandably, because Zed killed his father. So I like that dynamic. And then I didn't know this as well. He took on like an apprentice, which was a Kali, but she left the order as well. And how that obviously made him feel, you know, conflicted. And then right at the end it says, how long can one man walk two paths before the acts of one destroy the other? So yeah, there seems to be a lot going on there, and that was a really good introduction, at least for me personally, to actual Shen. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move on to his skins, and then I'm going to move on to the actual story. So let's go. Right, so the Eye of Twilight Shen. So let's have a look at his skins. So, let me start off actually with, nope, I always do it. That happens every time. Let me start off with his original skin. Yeah, I love it. I love his original skin. You can see obviously he's from the same region as Zed. Very similar elements in terms of what they wear. Looks cool. It looks cool. And the purple as well. I'm feeling the purple. So, right, let me look at the skins now. So the first one is Frozen Shen. So, wow. Okay, that's cool. Not a lot of detail though. There's some detail obviously on the sword and a little bit on him as well, but it's a little bit blurry. Not a lot of detail in it, but what I'm seeing looks pretty good. So the next one, Yellow Jacket Shen. Right, that's what I'm talking about. Now, okay. Yeah, that's really cool. That's my favourite so far. Surgeon Shen. Okay, that is... The thing is, you're going from this kind of the theme of the original skin. Now we're going to go to Surgeon. Okay. Alright, okay. That's a bit different. Moving on to Blood Moon Shen. Alright, that's fire. Yeah, okay. Okay, that's really good. I wonder if that's his dad. I wonder if that's Kushko. But yeah, that one was really nice. Reminds me as well, the actual mask reminds me of like a typical like samurai Japanese mask. Even though Shen has got Japanese as well, yeah. Warlord Shen. Okay, there we go. I spoke too soon. Here is the samurai Japanese mask. Warlord Shen, yeah. Clearly inspired by the samurai. But there's a little bit of that in there as well. But yeah, Warlord Shen obviously is the one. Okay, so TPA Shen. This reminds me a little bit of the one from Zed last week. He had one very similar to this. That's probably, I guess, yeah, that's going to be Shen there. Okay, cool. Pulse Fire Shen. Wow. Okay. Wonder who that is in the background. That's nice though. Okay. Infernal Shen. Wow. Okay, look at the size of him as well. Look at these mere mortals bowing down to me. And then Psyops. So it did this last time as well. Psyops Z didn't have it on the actual League of Legends website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find that one as well, like I did last week. So bear with me. Right, so here we are. This is Psyops Shen. I'm going to say Z then. Psyops Shen. Yeah, okay. That looks really good. It looks like a futuristic ninja combined with like a soldier, basically. Futuristic ninja soldier, if that makes sense. That's kind of how it looks. That's cool as well. I wonder who that is as well. Either way, he's doing his thing. He's blocking the bullets, and he's got 2 katana, or 2 swords there. Cool. So, if I had to pick now my favourite one, it would have to be... I'm going to have to go with... I'm not going to look at them again. I'm just going to go on my first thoughts. It's going to have to be... this one. That is my favourite one. Yeah, that is so good. Yeah, that's my favourite one. Closely followed by Warlord. Warlord Shen looks, yeah, really good. So that will be second. Pulse Fire will be first. And I'd probably say Psyops is third. That would take third place. So yeah, Pulse Fire would be my actual number 1 skin for Shen. So let's move on to now the story, right? So true neutral. So... it was no tempest, it was the spirit, said the fisherman, still rattled by the shipwreck he'd barely survived 2 nights ago. The man told of his fishing vessel being sunk by a creature, large as a house and quick as the wind. Show me where it happened, said Shen. Sorry, I jumped a line there. Shen listened to the tale, silently weighing the facts as presented. Show me where it happened, said Shen. The man led him to a beach in the bay where a team of villagers worked to recover the drowned bodies of the mariners. Shen knelt to examine a piece of wreckage. The gnashes in the driftwood were deep and savage, the work of powerful claws. How many dead? He asked. All but me. 6, responded the fisherman. The spirits are strong, thought Shen, digging through the wreckage for any further evidence. I wonder if this is Jin. Might be Jin, might not be. At last, on the edge of the splintered portion of the hull, he found it, a small tuft of gossamer hair. Most people would overlook it, or if they did see it, they'd never believe a creature that could break a ship in half could leave something so delicate. But Shen had seen this hair like this before. Any doubts he'd have about the veracity of the fisherman's tales faded as he watched the fine, silvery tuft dissolve into nothing at his touch. A demon, Shen remarked. You must have sailed into its path. The fisherman nodded grimly. Spirits of all kinds are known to mingle with the physical world, especially in Ionia, where the barrier between realms was thin and passable. The ethereal and material planes were in constant contact, sliding peacefully past one another like oil atop water. As the Eye of Twilight, it was Shen's duty to walk between the worlds. Right, okay, so he can pass between both worlds, ensuring neither side overwhelmed the other. To humans, he was a ghost, vanishing in the space between breaths to reappear many miles away. To spirits, he was a human, flesh and bone who ought never to venture into ethereal realms. He knelt on the beach to examine one of the corpses he had recovered. The man had been torn in half just below the ribs. What was left of his innards dangled from a pale, bloated torso. Nice. You need not worry. I shall have the monster before nightfall, said a voice from behind. I like the confidence. Shen turned to see a holy man sent by a local temple. Several acolytes stood around him, carrying an assortment of mystical trinkets and oils. They were beginning a cleansing ritual to root out any spiritual disturbances in the area. The holy man stared at Shen as if sizing up his value. Can we count on your help, sir? The man asked. Balance will be restored, said Shen with an assuring nod. He parted ways with the holy man and continued to follow the faint trail of gossamer hair. He thought of the dead seafarers and the cost he'd need to extract from the demon. The words of his father still rang true. The hardest part in finding the point of balance in all things. True neutrality, the precise centre of all forces at work in the world. That is what the eye must be able to distinguish. Enforcing equilibrium was its own struggle, and I like this. I like how he's focused on this balance of neutral, and not only in the world, in terms of the spirit world and the physical world, but also in his own experiences as well. So obviously in his bio we talked about how he has the struggle between being neutral and obviously revenge for Zed, and I like how he has that struggle with his own internal conflicts in balance as well. Anyways, enforcing that equilibrium was its own struggle. For the task, Shen carried 2 blades on his back. One was an Ionian steel sabre that could cleave through a person in one blow. The other was a sword of pure arcane energy. Right, so that ties in with the actual skin as well. The skin, my favourite skin, I forgot what that was called, but you notice one of them was a physical sword and the other one was kind of like this energy blade, which ties in with this. Right. It was used for dealing with spirits. Okay, so one is used for dealing with the real world, or the physical world, and one is to do with the spirit realm. Nice. Okay, and had been passed down through many generations of Shen's ancestors. He had slain countless demons, ghosts, wraiths, and spirits with it over the years, and fully expected to take one more before the day was done. At last, Shen came to a secluded inlet, quiet and devoid of human activity. On a sandbar in the shallow lay the demon, its fine glossy coat shimmering in the dusk. The creature swelled as it rested, engorged from consuming the mortal essences of its victims. Shen crept through the rushes, silently edging towards the sleeping demon. Demons have got to sleep as well. He could see its massive ribcage expanding and contracting with deep, restful breaths. When he was but a few paces from the sandbar, he drew his spirit blade, readying the strike. Suddenly, a distressed sound stayed his hand. It was a shrill, ghastly cry emanating from the very air itself. It sounded familiar, but before Shen could identify the noise, he heard it again and again and again, culminating in a chorus of blood-curdling shrieks. These were the cries of dying spirits. Shen's eyes darted back to the demon, now beginning to stir from its slumber. Shen took one more look at his spirit blade, calmly weighing his options. He then clasped his hands together, carefully focusing his chi, and disappeared in a vortex of crackling energy, leaving the demon alone on the sandbar. A moment later, Shen reappeared at the site of the shipwreck. All around, smouldering pools of black ooze evaporated into the air, coupling with the lingering reek of terror. Shen counted the dissipating black puddles, each the remains of slain spirit. His tally was interrupted as the holy man entered the clearing with his accolades. Who was this guy? Who was this holy man? One of the men held a cord of flax and silver. Tethered to the other end was a smaller spirit, an imp of no significance. It struggled against the choke of its leash. It wailed as it saw the remains of its brethren. Would you care to dispose of this one? The holy man asked Shen casually, as if offering him a bowl of soup at dinner. Shen looked at the sticky, smouldering pools that were mighty beings of the other world just moments ago. Then he turned to gaze towards the priest and the wailing imp. I am sorry for this, your holiness, he said. He placed his spirit blade back into its scabbard and drew his steel sabre instead. It was not the sword he had expected to use this. It was not the sword he expected to use this day. Ooh, right. Okay, that is a nice twist at the end. So basically, this holy man and his accolades are killing all these. What does it say there now? It's killing all these demons, basically. Let me find it. What it said. Yes, it says here, Shen looked to the sticky smouldering pools that were mighty beings of other worlds just moments ago. So basically this guy's going too far, isn't he? He's going too far and he's killing too many of these demons on the actual spirit realm, which is knocking things out of balance. So I like that twist. I like how throughout the whole story he's on his mission to kill this demon, but when this guy's taking it too far, this holy man, he realises that he needs to put his spirit blade back in and he needs to take out his other blade to kill this guy. Dark. It was not the sword he had expected to use this day. Ooh. Okay, so that was good. Yeah, so nice tie-in actually with his bio as well as the story. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish off with his actual spotlight. So let's go.
Welcome to League of Legends Champion Spotlight, featuring Shen, the Eye of Twilight.
So that music is Azir's. For a second I thought, oh, has he got his own login theme? But no, that's definitely Azir's login theme.
Welcome to League of Legends Champion Spotlight, featuring Shen, the Eye of Twilight.
I think it is. Yeah.
Our wills align.
I might be wrong, but I think that's Azir's login. Let's go. Let's go.
The leader of a secret clan of mystic warriors, Shen is neither tempted by evil nor emboldened by good, and acts only to ensure perfect balance is maintained throughout Runeterra. In-game, Shen is a beefy, energy-based tank who can take up roles in solo lane, the river, and the jungle.
To top it up, that's probably one of my favourites actually. I like how it's going through his skin, but just to top off that skin here, let me find it. Okay. He's wearing Crocs. He's wearing Crocs. Well done. Whoever's designed that skin, well done.
River, and the jungle. Once he's picked his positional poison, he serves as a constant protector to his allies, thanks to his global ultimate and slew of disruptive abilities.
With balanced steps.
Before we get into those abilities, let's talk about his Spirit Blade. It's basically a big sword that joins him as he makes his way through the rift.
Okay.
While it doesn't do anything on its own, Shen gets to manipulate it with his abilities, which we'll go into now. Shen's passive, Key Barrier, gives the big guy a small shield for a few seconds whenever he uses an ability. Key Barrier's cooldown is reduced whenever one of his abilities affects another champion. Basically, taunted baddie, you get a lower cooldown. Shield a pal, lower cooldown. You get the idea.
Okay.
Next up is Shen's Q, Twilight Assault. Shen calls his Spirit Blade to him, buffing his next 3 basic attacks to deal bonus damage on hit. If Shen pulls his blade through an enemy champion, he gets to deal even more damage and gains bonus attack speed for his 3 attacks. Additionally, enemy champions struck by the Spirit Blade are slowed while running away from Shen. Use your Shen smarts to repeatedly manipulate your enemy into areas between you and your Spirit Blade.
Whoa.
Successfully pull your blade through your opposite number for a good trade.
Gonna get him.
Do it a couple times in a row and you'll wreck your opponent's early game.
Yeah. Nice. Smart as well.
Shen's W is Spirit's Refuge, which turns his Spirit Blade into an area of effect dodge zone for a few seconds, nullifying all basic attacks against Shen and his allies.
Boy, okay.
Note the ability originates from Shen's Spirit Blade, not from Shen himself. If no one's around to benefit from the dodge zone, his Spirit Blade will wait a few seconds before activating.
See, it reminds me, it's a little bit like Kindred's ultimate. I don't know where no one can die. So basically when it's in there, you take no damage. Okay.
Use Spirit's Refuge to dodge predictable enemy attacks. If you're laning, that's normally when they go into fight. But if you're jungling, you can trigger the ability just before the monsters hit back, which can let you dodge an additional round of attacks. Next is Shen's E, Shadow Dash, which has passive and active components. Passively, Shen recovers energy whenever he deals damage with Twilight Assault or Shadow Dash. When activated, Shen dashes in a target direction, damaging and taunting all enemies struck.
Oh, hence why it's a tank, so you can taunt as well. Okay.
Use Shadow Dash to catch enemies out of position. Taunt is a
I would have never thought it would have been a tank, but okay.
super strong mechanic that can easily result in kills when Shen Shadow Dashes correctly. Finally, Shen's ultimate is Stand United, which Shen can cast on allied champions anywhere on the map.
Okay, that's why it's a tank. Okay.
Once activated, Stand United gives Shen's target a shield as he channels. And when the channel is complete, Shen teleports to his ally, moving his Spirit Blade with him instantly.
Whoa, so he can teleport anywhere on the map, While he's channeling that, he grants his allies a barrier, and he brings the blade as well. Okay, okay.
Now, Stand United is a channeled ability, so it's interrupted if Shen's nailed by hard crowd control effects like displacement, taunts, charms, stuns, roots, and death. Similarly, Shen can only teleport if he still has someone to stand united with at the end of the channel. If his target is killed before Shen finishes channeling, he's just going to end up standing. Stand United is a hugely impactful ability, but it requires awesome awareness and even awesomer communication. Time it right, and you'll help your team pull off super aggressive tower dives or save your suffering allies from otherwise guaranteed death.
Yeah.
Time it wrong, and you'll do none of those.
Yeah. Okay.
Shen's passive makes him surprisingly tanky even at low health. After poking him down, Gnar goes mega and crunches in, looking to burst his enemy down for an easy kill. But Shen's got other ideas. By landing all of his active abilities on either himself or on Gnar, he gets a second round of shielding from Key Barrier. Ironic if you think about it, keys normally let you get past barriers. Awkward. As soon as you hit 6, start looking out for opportunities to get your ult on. Here, Shen spots Lee Sin on the receiving end, for once, of a jungle invade. He gets a Key Barrier shield at the end of Stand United and then holds on to Spirit's Refuge until after the shield is broken. Otherwise, the dodge is mostly just wasted. He keeps Quinn and Trundle so preoccupied with his taunts and shields that the entire team is able to come in and pick up 3 kills without suffering any losses in return. Just because Stand United has a global range doesn't mean it has to be used halfway across the map. Sometimes you'll just want to hit R to hand your ally a shield. Like here, when Shen ults to save Lucian from what would have been Jin's killer 4th shot.
Nice. Yep.
Sensational.
Sensational.
As handy as Spirit's Refuge is, it's even better with Stand United, because your Spirit Blade will appear right on top of your endangered ally. Pull off a Shadow Dash after Spirit's Refuge ends to add even more denial to your teammate's would-be killer.
Yeah.
Shen's no assassin, but he is pretty freaking good at dueling other tanks. He negates tons of damage by constantly refreshing Key Barrier, and only goes into fight when his Spirit Blade is empowered. He also tries really hard to pull Twilight Assault through Scion for the increased damage and attack speed. Shen's 2 levels under Scion and still crushes the fight thanks to some really nice outplays. Finally, here's Shen doing his thing late game. He's able to split push with impunity until he senses that his team is in danger and takes a guaranteed ride into combat with Stand United. Shen's so disruptive that he holds 3 enemy champions captive while his team fights 4v2. From here, Shen holds on to Shadow Dash until there's a need to taunt the enemy team, which comes when Ziggs tosses Mega Inferno Bomb onto the enemy marksman, blowing him up instantly.
Okay, he's a tank. Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in to the Shen Champion Spotlight. Please subscribe to the Riot Games YouTube channel and leave us your comments just below the video.
What?
You're already dead. You just haven't caught up yet.
Wow. Wow. So I guess before looking into this character, I would have never guessed he would have been a tank. I would have thought maybe similar to Zed, like an assassin. But after seeing his abilities, you can see why he is a tank. Wow. His special ability, let me find out what it's called again. Stand United. Stand United is, wow, really good. The fact that he can teleport anywhere on the map, grants a barrier while he's channeling to his allies, and then he comes to support as well. Yeah, wow. So, really cool character. I really did enjoy the actual Champion Spotlight as well. Yeah, I think I'll leave it here today, guys, in this one. Hopefully you enjoyed my thoughts and breakdown of Shen, also his bio and his really good story as well. Bit of a shame he hasn't got a login theme, but who knows, maybe one day they might bring out one. And now I'm getting to know a little bit more about the actual character, because I've mentioned in previous videos I will be in the next maybe week or so going through the actual Zed comics, which has been heavily requested. I will be going through them in the next couple of weeks. So I've done Zed, I've covered Shen. I'm going to next time cover a little bit more on Jin. Once that's done, then I'll be moving on to the comics, and I should have a better understanding of the actual champions in the comics as well. So yeah, hopefully you guys actually enjoyed this video, and if you did, feel free to smash that like button. Also let me know in the comment section, and subscribe if you've not done so already, and I will see you guys in the next one.